This review is January 2020 Patrons Pick. Head on over to my Patreon to vote for February's. Kaiju, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey, howdy, hey there, collectors. It is Steven here, and I'm back with another review for you, and we're bringing back that Ultraman goodness with an Ultra Kaiju. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Premium Bandai Webshop exclusive. Now keep in mind, that's not the name of the line, that's just the name of Bandai's webshop. SH Figuarts Black King. That's right, this figure had one pre-order window, and if you happen to miss it, unfortunately, you're going to have to rely on the aftermarket. If I remember correctly, the price after fees and all that fun stuff shipped was around sub $100. So, yeah, considering the aftermarket is usually always going up, if you missed out on it, is this something you should really consider buying, or can you pass on it? Well, I got some good news. It's pretty good, but I think we need to take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. See, yeah, I'm always able to work that in there, just always. I can figure it out. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of Ultra Acts that exist that do look pretty dang sweet. Some of them have gold paint. I'm specifically thinking of Mebius Phoenix Brave. But I do have to say here that if you're worried about how the SH Figuarts line has been handling the different Ultra releases, specifically the Kaiju, this should be the prime example as to why no one needs to worry. Black King looks fantastic in regards to both sculpt and paint. All of the details found on Black King are so intricate that even the most minute of details from the suit are carried over best they could on this figure. Bandai has historically struggled with gold paint. There are plenty of figures that I have which are painted gold in one way or another, whether it's going to be a small paint app here or the entire figure is going to be painted gold, that Bandai realistically has struggled with. However, here, for the horns, spikes, claws, Black King, the paint app for the gold is striking. It is clean, it is crisp, there's no bubbling. Mwah. It looks great. Now, Black King is actually going to be kind of gray. But that being said, the cracks, the folds, the ridges, the scutes, the this, the that's, the other, they're all sculpted intricately. Specifically looking at his throat, you can see holes in it where the suit actor would look out. So yeah, if you're an Ultra fan and you don't want an X Plus that's super big and you want a really great looking Black King figure, yeah, congrats, you found it. Boraku Kingu Articulation. I'm going to have to say it's pretty good. It took me a little while to figure out exactly what Bandai was doing here, but I think ultimately they achieved an action figure that does work well in SH Figuarts format. So what do we have? Well, unfortunately, the teeth are sculpted in such a way where the mouth, despite the fact that it is going to be on a ball joint, the jaw does not close all the way, so he's not going to ever have a closed mouth. However, that's a nice wide opening, and as if you tilt the head back a little bit, you can get just that extra bit of clearance in the mouth. So that's pretty good. The head attaches into the neck on a ball joint, so right here at this point, we can get some decent movement, as you can see, so that's really good to see. Then from there, we do have another point. That's a ball joint, and that joint at the waist likes to pop off a bit, so we'll talk about that in a second. Well, you know what? We'll go ahead and do this. So yes, we do have a system of ball joints in the neck, but sometimes they do like to move, but mainly we're going to be looking at right here, which Black King has good movement there. For the shoulders, it does seem like we're going to have just ball joints in the shoulders so we can move the arms around, and unfortunately, because of the sculpt, we're not really going to be able to get Black King to do a T-pose properly, but some of you who do like to have your Kaiju actually move around, what you can do is you can move the arm backwards like so and utilize a bicep swivel, so this way you can turn the arm and then utilize an elbow swivel, which also has a hinge, so this way you can raise Black King's arm, so that's not an issue there. We do also have ball-jointed wrists, so yes, the arm movement on Black King is a little different, not really satisfactory too much, as you can see here, I'm able to move around like that, but yeah, unorthodox, but it does work. As you saw here, we have an ab crunch, which is a ball joint, which is rather functional, which is great to see. Then we do have this waist joint, which is very fiddly. It is a ball joint, and it does like to pop off a lot for me. That may be different from unit to unit, but since this is mine, I'm reviewing what I have. I'm reporting on what I have, so that's frustrating, but once it gets in, it's in. We have ball jointed hips, which like to squeak, or do we? No. See, we do actually have a ball joint where the legs plug in, but we do actually have the old Figuarts style drop down hips. So if you're familiar with Ultra Act or whatnot, you know what you're to expect here. We do also have thigh swivels, which is good. Then you would expect hinged knees, right? Well, the knees do move in a hinge movement, but also ball joints. So a little bit different than expected. This joint is a little stuck on mine, but c'est la vie. For the feet, ankles, ball joints, rather limited movement due to the sculpt, and rather tight on mine. And what's a little bit of a hindrance is that the flat portion of the feet here, that's not really sculpted, is sculpted sort of at an angle. So when Black King stands up, he is going to have a little bit of a wider stance in order to actually stand. Okay? And most of the time, the tail's going to have to be on the ground to support that. Which, speaking of the tail, we have a ball joint at the base. We have a ball joint right there, which that's the first time that popped off, to my knowledge anyway. So ball joint there. We have a ball joint here, which is a little bit limited in movement, and then a ball joint here, which also is a little limited in movement. But generally speaking, we can get him to wag his tail and put it in different directions. So overall, Black King is relatively well articulated, not super duper over the top, but if you want to get Black King in a couple of cool action poses to fight your favorite Ultra, whether it's going to be Ginga or Ultra 7, Jack, whoever it may be, you should be able to do that. Now, Black King does not come with any accessories, which is kind of bogus for the price point. They could have included a rock, a building, something. I know not everybody prefers rocks, but hey, you know, gotta have it. So we'll go ahead and move on over to a size comparison. So you can see Black King is nicely sized and will fit in well with your already established kaiju display. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. I have to say, as an early adopter and probably getting the best price I could for Black King, yeah, I'm very pleased with what I got. The articulation just could be fixed up a little bit to avoid that waist joint popping apart and maybe some more smoothness in the joints, which I think I can fix. But they definitely should have included an accessory to really seal the deal. That being said, as just a sort of casual fan of Ultraman, Black King here is an absolute winner. However, your comfort level with spending whatever the aftermarket price tag is on this guy at the moment, well, I can say that this really isn't a $100 figure, but it is a good one. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now you've heard a lot from me, I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand-selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand-selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.